Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Red Review, where we go over the latest in the EV tech news. And today we are going to be talking about a few different topics. Number one, Cybertruck delivery delays. Yes, this is a thing, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Also, we're going to get to BYD's major announcement in the realm of charging and the impact that it has on Tesla. And lastly, we're going to get around to talk about what's been going around the internet quite a bit as of late. Mark Rober's viral video on Tesla self-driving. Yes, he went all Wile E. Coyote on us. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hey everybody, we're back. Thanks for joining us. So many of you may have not heard. Those of you that have had a truck on order, you know that the Cybertruck has been delayed for their deliveries as of late. And I know a lot of people out there are feeling some kind of way about that. I mean, you paid all this money for this truck and you're not getting it. So the frustration is quite understandable, and the remarks have ranged from the quite, how shall we say, nice to the openly frustrated. Understandably so. So let's take a look at that and break down what's going on with the Cybertruck delays. So the Tesla Cybertruck, known for its futuristic design, has hit a snag with delivery delays. It appears that the company has paused deliveries because the cantrail trim, a decorative piece above the doors, is detaching and flying off, because we all know nothing ever flies off at Tesla. Not like, say, I don't know, a light bar. In any case, this is a quality control issue, and Tesla is addressing it with what they call a containment hole to fix the problem before the trucks hit the road. So what's happening is they're basically holding on to the trucks before they're going to deliver them to you, and that's the reason for the delay. Now, this cantrail, or what could be called the A-pillar trim, however you want to call it, it lies above the door. Now, it is purely decorative, okay? However, it is a big shiny piece of metal that, if it separates, can cause potential damage to the vehicle or another vehicle that is behind you. And therein lies the problem. This problem started coming to light a few months ago when it got cold, and there are a lot of videos circulating on the internet where this particular trim was starting to separate. And a lot of people blamed it on the cold weather. That could have had a thing to do with it. We don't know. I'm sure Tesla does at this point. But there's a possibility that that had something to do with it. The cold weather had something to do with it. We just don't know. But these videos started circulating around on YouTube and around different parts of the internet that the trim was coming off of the truck, because there is a nut that actually holds that cantrail trim in place. That's not what we're talking about here. On the actual trim itself, the metal piece is glued on to the part that you actually bolt in, and that's what was separating from the vehicle. So this is a video from Reed Tomasco, who detailed the trim coming off of his Cybertruck.
All right, so here is the panel. Here's the side where it came off of mine. So as you can see, here's the glue, and that's the glue that failed. So it's still sticking to this piece. This is the piece that has the stud. So the stud is actually right there. It's not right here. The stud, and if we can take a look at this side, which is now also loose, as you can see, look at this. It's just loose. You can see there is the stud right there. It's not attached to this. This is glued onto this, which then this is what has the stud.
So to all my fellow Cybertruck owners and Cybertruck owners to be, I can only urge patience on this one. It will be taken care of. It looks like Tesla is addressing it, but just be patient, because nobody wants a truck where the cantrail can actually come flying off the vehicle. That's not fun. Ask me how I know. A little bit more patience, get the Cybertrucks, and hopefully everything works out. Let's talk about BYD for a moment. In case you're not familiar with who BYD is at this point, if you're an EV owner, it's kind of hard not to hear of them. BYD is the Chinese Tesla, for lack of a better term. They produce a lot of different vehicles in China, and they're one of the largest, if not the largest, EV producer in China. They're a major player in the EV market, and they have unveiled a 1,000 kilowatt charging technology. Yes, that's 1 megawatt of power, folks. Twice as much as Tesla's V4 superchargers, which top out at 500 kilowatts. Keeping in mind, while they top out at 500 kilowatts, you don't actually get that. They have limited the Cybertruck to 325 kilowatts, and that's the fastest charging vehicle on the network. So they say 500, we haven't seen it yet. But at 1 megawatt, this means you could charge your EV and get 249 miles of range in just 5 minutes. And that's going to make it as quick as filling up a gas tank. This could revolutionize the EV experience, solving range anxiety and boosting adoption. For Tesla, this is a wake-up call. They might need to speed up their charging infrastructure to stay competitive, especially as BYD plans to build 4,000 megawatt level charge posts. It's like BYD just plugged into a lightning bolt and said, hey, catch up if you can. But that's where we are with it. So let's talk about the sensation of late, that is Mark Rober. Not to say Mark Rober's a late sensation, he's really not. He's been around for quite some time and he does some fantastic videos. I love his videos, truth be told. But lately he came out with a video that is circulating around the internet, and you will see a Model Y crashing through a wall. The whole point of the video was to demonstrate that LiDAR was better than the camera setup on Teslas. That's really what the point of the video was, because LiDAR essentially has can actually see different objects with laser beams, radar detectors, various things. And there's always been this back and forth argument against Tesla for not using LiDAR on their vehicles, and they've always been criticized for using optical only techniques to judge the distances from objects. And that's the problem. Mark Rober set out to test this theory. Well, was LiDAR better or was the vision test better? I will tell you there's some skepticism about the way he did the test, and there might be some, how shall we say, reasons why this video was made. As well, I'm not going to speculate here. I would encourage you to go out and look on the internet as to some of the reasons why other folks suspect that this was all a setup. So he tested a Model Y against a wall painted to look like a road, a la Wile E. Coyote. And for those that don't know who he is, obviously you're a lot younger than me. In any case, claimed that it showed that Tesla's full self-driving failed to detect the wall. Okay, now research suggests he actually tested the standard autopilot, not FSD, and the car crashed into the wall while a LiDAR-equipped car stopped. This highlights potential weaknesses in the camera-based systems compared to LiDAR, which uses lasers for detection. There's controversy though. Some say the test was misleading as autopilot and FSD are different, and critics argue it was staged to favor LiDAR technology. A couple of problems with this. Number one, it's becoming apparent in the video that he did not have FSD engaged. He only had Tesla's autopilot, which, if you ever pay attention to a Tesla, it has 3 modes in the Model Y. It has adaptive cruise control, which basically keeps you a certain distance from the vehicle in front of you. It has autopilot, which now, opposed to just keeping the distance from the car in front of you, It's essentially a lane centering technology. And then you have full self-driving, FSD for short. FSD is what most people are familiar with because that's the one that drives you from door to door. That's the one that actually changes the lanes and gets off the highway, drives around the city street. That's FSD. Apparently, that's not what Mark Rober had engaged. He had autopilot engaged, which is the lower level of the automation. Not the lowest, but it's kind of like the mid-level. So essentially, he had fancy lane keeping technology engaged. Why did he not use full FSD? I don't know. So that's one criticism right there. The second criticism was that the FSD did not detect the wall LiDAR should have detected. But they did other tests as well in smoke and fog and all of this, but they actually used smoke. Now, smoke does have a lot more mass to it than fog does. In foggy weather, believe it or not, FSD works pretty well. It still works really well in low light conditions, and I would hazard to say that the system works better than a human in cloudy, foggy conditions, because there is some part of the spectrum that the cameras use to see a little bit into the infrared, and so it can see a little bit farther than a human in really foggy conditions. Contrast that to LiDAR. LiDAR actually has real trouble seeing in foggy conditions because of the laser beams getting interrupted and not being able to get a good return on the laser beams when it's reflected off of stuff. So LiDAR actually does suffer in the rain and the fog, which is something that, Mark Rober didn't mention. Just research the folks that are in the video and you will begin to understand what some of the problems are. But it's a bit like a cartoon where the car thinks the wall is a tunnel, but it raises important questions about self-driving tech reliability. At least that's what Mark Rober was trying to do. The simple truth of the matter is this. He tested Tesla Autopilot under conditions that are not real world. If you have Wile E. Coyote out there painting walls and putting them in the middle of the highway, Teslas might have a real problem on their hands and they might start crashing while autopilot is engaged. I will admittedly give you that. But real world, what does this actually test? I mean, really, think about it. What are we actually talking about here? The things that the optical cameras on the Teslas can recognize is incredible. And I am speaking from firsthand experience. It's absolutely incredible. I don't think we're going to have a problem with coyotes painting walls in the middle of highways. If we do, then we'll have a real problem. But until that day, I think we can file this one into the round file. So there you go. What can we say? In any case, hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to get this out there for you guys, update you on the latest news that's going on in the market. We'll be back again next week with another update. Don't forget to look in the description below to see how you can get some great discounts on many Tesla accessories. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.